Hey, what's up guys? Bloom Barrel here. For this video, I'm going to be going in depth and breaking apart the lyrics of our upcoming song, Extinction. So I'm going to be dividing the sections in 3 individual units, and we'll kick things off with what the song Extinction is about. Well, the title's pretty straightforward and delivers the message quick, so that was intentional. But other than that, I feel like I was destined and chosen to speak for the masses. Now, most of the people say that, and when they do, they have all the eyes on them, the media's behind them, they have a good fan base, and, fill in the blank. But when you go and take a look of what their material is about, you see the intention behind it, and it serves no purpose. As for me, hey, I've been that good guy. I've been that guy that, I'll let my talent and abilities do the talking on stage. But I felt like that only got me across to a certain degree. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I felt like if I really wanted to have my message heard and my purpose displayed, I would have to update every portion of my vocals, every style, and peak it and tweak it up to its max until I close the gap between finding the spaces for mistakes. And that's just the aspect of vocals. I had to update everything: conditioning, stage performance, communication. There's so many variables that come into play that you don't see it until you start grinding and actually putting in the effort and work and time commitment. I knew that once all my variables were polished, it was time for me to go ahead and spread that message across. And a new unbearable and focused drive that I've never had before, more than even when I started. So I think that came into play and took over and actually aligned every aspect of my portfolio as an entertainer. Only then I was comfortable enough to have the confidence that I knew there was no way they can deny me now. Well, let's get back to the focus and what the song is actually about, Extinction. Now, we've seen it in the past. We've seen all the civilizations in the past. Either is a cycle about to repeat or, but we've seen it in the past. Civilizations before us, whether the myths were genuine or not, the evidence of the structures itself shows. Also, to add the conclusion of the past civilizations, if the wipeout was either due to a collision occurrence or their awareness peaked along with technology and they wiped themselves out. Which brings us back to the question is, what makes our civilization different from the others? What do we have that they didn't possess in the past? So that's what Extinction is mainly about. So another topic I'm going to be talking about is styles and patterns. Well, choosing the style was a bit trickier because you don't want to ruin the composition of your bandmate's song, So it's tricky, and it's not a walk in the park. Let's just say that. Because look, just look at the odds itself. There's about, I don't know how many vocalists, I don't know how many bands. 80% of the vocalists write about similar influences and occurrences that are just for the time being and serve no purpose. So, anybody can just write lyrics, anybody can just scream and put it into plays, and, but to actually spend time dissecting lyric by lyric and positioning them in the correct place and at the right time with the correct attitude, then that makes the certain individual stand out than the standard composer. So for Extinction, I went a little more diverse than what I usually do. I really wanted to make a statement and show my diversity in vocal styles and repetition patterns. And not just repetition patterns, but catchy repetitions that, either you want to play the song again, either you want to rewind it, or it's stuck in your head. In better words, to put it, not half-ass a song and, settling with the basics, settling with underachieved structures or performances. That's the best way I can put it as. Well, let's go ahead and dive in a little more into one of the lines of the lyrics and explain what that lyric actually means and the message I'm trying to convey. So let's dive into the main breakdown of the song. And on the parts that I really want to stand out is I usually shout so my lyrics can be as transparent as possible and the message is delivered in fashion. That's the best way. Because look, man, anybody can fucking growl, and don't even get me started on the growling vocals, because there's this aspect that no vocalist that I know is familiar with called pronunciation. So that dives into a whole other critical techniques that they're not even taking into consideration. So for the first line of the breakdown of the focus, I decided to adapt the style of hardcore vocals, a little bit more shouting and like, hey, I'm trying to tell you this, with an attitude, because that's the only way you can hear me, basically. Pretty much the line speaks for itself. It's pretty straightforward. And is it time to greet clones or construction of androids? And that's pretty much what, I'm trying to get the message across, that I think our human race is pretty close to hitting a peak, and it's either gonna run into one of those two aspects, in my opinion. So let's just, divide everything, set my vocals apart, set my everything else apart, focus on what's going on right now. Like, I don't even have to say it. Like, the globe speaks for itself, basically, and the physical proof shows it. I don't have to get into any spiritual aspect or prehistoric variable that's gonna back me up. It speaks for itself. So that's what mainly the song Extinction is about, and hopefully everybody's understanding the message I'm trying to get across. Like, okay, fine, I said it, but you didn't really look into it or take it into consideration. Now I'm gonna say it in your face with an aggression and with so much attitude that you're gonna want to look deeper and, spread the word. So I can't really wait to show you guys how the song Extinction is gonna sound. We finished tracking it here in my studio, Crop Circle Studios. Then it's sent out to a buddy of mine, Josh, in Widowmaker Studios, where he mixes it and masters it and ready for radio play. So I can't really wait to show you guys what we all been working on, the vocal patterns, and you're gonna know what the fuck I mean after you hear the song. You're gonna want to dive into the lyrics more and get that message across as well. Peace. Bloom Burial.